Okay, so hello everyone. Uh, Welcome to our session about create your first website with Django. I am your host, Hassanul Banna Himel, Microsoft Beta Student Ambassador. Today we will try to learn something scratch about Django and how you can start creating websites and how you can actually start a project. We will start, we will see a boilerplate mainly. So if I share my screen with you, just a bit. So can you see my screen? Are you able to see my screen? Okay. So hello everyone. I'm your today's host, Hassan Banahino. We will be going to discuss about Django and how it actually works. So now there are some prerequisites for this course. Mainly, you need some softwares like Visual Studio Code or the Git, and you have to get some knowledge about the understanding of HTML and CSS and some intermediate understanding of Python, including the following concepts such as package management system, the virtual environments, and the inheritance. So now, in our today's session, we will be doing some few things. We will be learning about Django concepts. Then we will be learning about the difference between Django and Flask. And then we will see the best types of applications for Django. And finally, we will see how to create a simple program. Now, here are the agendas for our today's session. Here you can see at first we will be going through the introduction, then what is Django, then we will explore basic concepts in Django, and finally we will do the understanding parts and views, and finally we will conclude our session with a knowledge check. So now comes the fun part. What is the Django? Here, the Django or the pronounced Django is a free and open source framework that was first released in the year 2005. Django was named after the famous jazz guitarist Django Reinforth, and over the years, many Python frameworks were developed based on this. But Django has become one of the most famous ones. Django is suitable for both front-end and back-end development. In the Python integrated libraries make it easy for rapid development. It is mainly designed for data-driven applications where the front-end provides the user interface for the back-end database. Now, Django offers a complete, just a bit, my screen, okay, yeah. Django offers a complete framework solution, which means it provides everything you need to quickly deploy your project. Django offers a great out-of-the-box security, a vast community of users, and can scale on demand. By using Django, you can develop many complex and database-driven web applications that can include the machine learning, the e-commerce platforms, data analysis, and content management systems. Now, while both of these frameworks could suit the needs of your next Python application, there are specific functionalities and levels of support that each provides. Such as here in the table, you can see Django and Flask both offer great benefits depending on the time requirements for app development. One might better suited than the other. Now we will walk through a exercise where we will going to install the Django. To install Django, we will be creating a Python application where we will see installation overview. We will create the project folder. We will create and activate the virtual environment, and then we will do the Django installation. Let me share my screen again with you. Just a bit. Okay. Can you see my screen? My Visual Studio Code. Anyone? Just let me know, like, is there any issues or not? Are you able to like see my VS Code? Should I- Now I think you were able to see the screen, right? There was a error from my end. Okay. So here you can see we will be creating a Django file here. So at first we are going to create our Django here. Now, while we install, we will be using the pip install Django. When it installs, it will create some, it is already installed for my device. It will install and then request some stuff and it will then install itself. Now, what we are going to do is we will be creating a project. But before that, we are going to jump back again into the slides. So we installed our Django in a new project folder. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to explore the core concepts which are discussed in the Django. The difference between a project or an app can be a bit confusing for the first-time Django developers. The key concept to keep in mind that Django site will only have one project, but the project is used to configure any site-wide information and handles the global routing table. Apps are contained inside of a project and are where the code exists to respond to user requests and provide functionality. Now, there are more Django terminologies such as the views and URL mapping. Views in Django are responsible for accepting a user request and responding to it. And the URL mapping is the process of taking the URL a user has entered by clicking on a button or link the mapping to the correct way. Now, what are we going to do is we are going to build our first our Django project. So if I share my screen once again, okay. So now what are we going to do is we're going to create a project from our terminal. We're creating a project from our terminal. So here you can see is the Django. Just click the Django dash admin space start project space my site. We are naming this thing my site, and it will generate a folder named my site here. Here you can see it has created a folder named my site. Now what are we going to do is we are going to enter this my site folder, cd change directory into my site. Yeah, we're now in the my site folder. So now if we before running this, just let me introduce like what are the things here. Here you can see the ASCII.py. The ASCII.py is mainly used in the deployment. When you are going to deploy something, we will be using this ASCII.py. And then here is the settings.py. It helps you to configure your site URLs, the routes, the middleware, the install apps, and other stuffs like that. And then in the urls.py, here you can see it connects the URLs to views, such as we have seen that the URLs and mapping, right? That is what it is used. And finally, WSGI or ASCII, that both are going to help in the same way. And finally, in the manage.py, it mainly controls the whole Django system. So now we're going to run mainly this the manage.py. So if you have any at any moment any questions, you can raise your hand so we can like take your questions. So here, this is here. Okay. So to run this, we are going to write the command python manage.py space run server. So our server is now running on this link here. Sorry, share here. Here you can see that the install worked successfully. Congratulations. So from here you can see that Django documentation, the tutorial, the Django community, and every other stuff. Now, again, we get back to the VS Code editor. So we use Control-C to turn off this server. Now, what are we going to do is we're going to create an app in Django. So what are we going to do is we are going to create our website will be have a home page. Let's assume. So we are going to now create that app. So let's do the let's create this thing here. Okay. So what are we going to do is we will be doing the Python manage.py space startup. Let's call it home. Okay. So what it does is it creates an app inside my site named home. Here you can see here are our the admin.py, the apps where we will be working, the models, the tests, and the views. Now we will be working on the views.py here in home. So here we are going to check like either our project works or not. So here we'll need to import from the Django.http. We are going to import the HTTP request. No, not that. We are going to send the response. So we will need the response. So now we define, let's say we define our this the index. We're going to do the request here. We will be doing request. It will return us the HTTP response in let's say uh, hello, we are live. Okay. So now what are we going to do is we need to connect this to our URL. So for that, we will be going inside our URL.py. Here we will be, at first we need to connect our this home to our my site. For that, we are going to do from home.views. We are going to import the index function. Now, when we do, we are going to select the path, and then we are going to pass the index. Okay. So now, once again, when we run our server, it facing some value, some issues. Let us let us check. Views that are HTTP. Yes, HTTP response. Here is the here is the issue. We need to return it. So yeah, this silly kind of mistakes causes a big trouble. So okay, so if we run this server again, let's see. Let me share the screen. Here you can see, hello, there is an error also. It is saying me hello, Okay, so it should work now. Okay, as we look, yeah, you can see, hello, we're live. So you can see that our project is already live, right? So now if we move again, uh, we'll share the screen again. Okay, so let me just close my terminal and let's just clear this. Okay. So now what are we going to do is we are going to add an HTML template. Like, so it will help you to know that like our site is actually working or not. So for that, what are we going to do is we will be creating a folder in the home, this home folder. We'll be creating another folder, then templates. Inside templates, we're going to create another folder as this is the template for our HTML file. So we are going to name this home. And finally, we will be calling our HTML file in this HTML. Now, so in the HTML file, after shift and one, we do the in the abbreviation. Here you can see our abbreviation. Let me just do the word wrap here. Okay. So here you can see, let us create, let's say, a bunch of lines. Okay, let's say uh, we successfully created this site, and let's say this one is created on Django event. Let's say uh, let's say this event was hosted by Hassan Ibana. Okay, so we created a boilerplate for our HTML file. So now what are we going to do is we are going to add this thing and in our view. So in the views, what are we going to now do is we are going to use this thing. We are going to comment this out here, and in the index, in the return, we are going to call the render. Here the render, and here we will be passing the request, and our address home slash index.html. Okay, now let's run this again. Hope that this run this time. Okay, so so when we run this, we are we faced an issue. So what is the issue says? The template loader postmortem. Django tried loading these templates in this order. So if we trace back, as we all are a coder, if trace back, you can see the response get response request is not getting the proper request. So you can get this error many times, right? So what are we going to do is for this issue, you need to change a few things. So what you need to change here is in the settings.py. Where is our settings.py? Here. The home we created, it is not given initially in the installed apps. So what we have to do is we need to insert that. Once we insert that, if we go here again, let me share the screen. Here you can see we successfully created this site. This one is we're having a too much spelling error today. Django event. That event was hosted by Sunil Bandahimo, right? So that is how you can create your first Django website from scratch. Now comes the most interesting part. Okay, so so we discussed about the Django, how Django works, what is Django, how it came to us, and all of stuff. Now, what are we going to do is we did our we created our project, right? Now, what are we going to do is we are going to have some knowledge check. So let me, if I just share my screen once again, I will share the also the answers with you. Okay, so now welcome to our knowledge checking session. Here you will be seeing about what we have learned till now, like what things we learned till now. So here comes our first question. So what is the command line utility automatically creates in every Django project? Like, can you tell me, like any of you? Let me check here. Like, if any of you answered this, where is the chat? Where is the chat? Okay, Obadu, you can write, you can type in the chat. Are you guys able to chat or not? My bad. I unfortunately wasn't able to look up it. Yeah, that was correct, Ubaidu. Thank you so much. It was actually manager 5. And then here comes our last question. What was referred as a table of contents in the Django app? Here our options are the URL conf, and then here we have our run server, and finally the project. So if I come here, okay, yeah, that's correct. It was URL configuration. So if I now come to the summary of our today's session, although there are many frameworks for Python language, but the Django framework has proven itself the worthy opponent for developing applications. By installing the Django framework, creating a new project, and developing your first app, the journey has only just begun. In this module, we learned why Django is created for rapid deployments, the difference between Django and Flask, the types of applications best for Django, and how to install a Django, and finally how to create a simple program. So what are the next steps? Here you can see the building a data-driven websites with Django and deploy a Python web app with PostgreSQL in Azure. You can find all of these modules in our Microsoft Learn platform. And finally, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining in today's session. I hope you learned something important or some new things in today's session. So thank you everyone. Thank you once again for joining in today's session. So till then, till next session, stay safe and Asumubana Himel signing off.